please have a good interaction, and I'm going to take a nap. I'll see you later.
I'll say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right, thank you for your response. Nice to know there's always someone on the other end of this transmission. First and foremost, as always, we will extend to you our deep appreciation for the co-creation of this interaction. For each and every time you allow us to interact with your civilization in this way, through these communications, it affords us an opportunity to learn through each and every one of you individually and all of you together collectively that many more perspectives that exist within creation. So we thank you for expanding our understanding of all the ways that creation can present itself within existence. We would now like to begin with the topic of this transmission, as has been discussed, that we will call Message for Japan. The idea, of course, is that many of you know that as you live in physical reality, there will be certain circumstances, certain situations, certain experiences that can and will occur that may involve what you have described in your Earth human language, catastrophic results, disastrous results, but which can also, from a different perspective, yield many deep understandings in a positive and constructive way that will allow you to learn from these experiences how to move forward in your reality in a manner that is more conducive to the kind of world, the kind of reality experience you say you prefer. In short, anything can be learned in a positive context from any kind of an experience at all, including those that you may have labeled disastrous. For they are only experiences as far as the soul is concerned, as far as the spirit is concerned. They are all capable of being added to the overall understanding, the overall growth of the spirit and the soul. This does not in any way, shape, or form mean to diminish the experience as experienced by the physical personality. We understand all too well the idea that there is suffering on your planet. Nevertheless, many times, individuals and groups on your planet will attract themselves to or attract to themselves the idea of such experiences that contain the idea of hardship and suffering, in order to have the opportunity to teach, to learn, to grow, to choose. Again, the idea is that from the soul perspective, from the soul and spirit point of view, this can only add to the ability to strengthen, to clarify, to delineate, to discern more clearly what it is you wish your world to be. So, specifically with regard to that area on your planet that has now experienced this particular natural occurrence, compounded with the idea of technological consequences as well, we would like to discuss 3 particular areas that are reflective and representative of what can be gleaned from this event. There are, of course, many more experiences other than just 3. Many more ideas other than just 3. But this can start you off in understanding how it is we view these kinds of experiences, and you can decide, if you so desire, if you so choose, to incorporate this kind of perspective, this kind of understanding in your own point of view with respect to these kinds of events as they may happen to others on your planet or even to yourself, as you may or may not find yourself in similar circumstances in your upcoming months and years. depending upon where you are on your planet and what it is you have chosen to attract to yourselves with the energy that you are giving off, based on whatever you believe, whether positively or negatively, to be most likely, most probable, most true for you, or what you believe you need to experience to allow you to decide, to allow you to change, to allow you to discern what path you wish to walk on your planet and how you wish your world to be. The first way, the first context in which this event can be viewed is that as a culture, what you call the Japanese nation has for quite some time on your planet, historically speaking, as you count these things, as you count these years, been relatively isolated unto itself, relatively self-contained as a culture, and even in what you would call recent years, has maintained a perspective to some degree of keeping to themselves, of creating certain kinds of sociological, political barriers, lines, borders, with respect to how they interact with the rest of the globe. We are not in any way, shape, or form saying this is a negative thing. It is just part and parcel of the experience they have chosen as a culture to remain, in a sense, highly focused within their culture, highly unitized, unified within their culture, in a kind of group mind focus with relatively little focus on the idea of individuality, although this has been changing in recent years. Nevertheless, the idea of having now allowed themselves to choose to have this kind of an experience, which they have known for some time could happen, has begun to break down these sociological structures, these borders, these barriers, by allowing them to experience a need to rely on the globe for support, and be capable thus then of seeing the outpouring of support that they have received, that other people around your planet are willing to share with them, willing to give to them freely, with love. This will have the effect of beginning to allow many of them that have been of a mentality of isolationism and withdrawal to begin to see that you are all connected to everyone else, that you are one family, regardless of your differences, and in fact, sometimes even because of them. For any relationship is not really measured so much by the similarities that make you compatible, but whether or not you can allow your differences to be compatible as well. Thus, they are learning in this experience that they can reach out, that they do not have to fear the idea of interaction with other cultures, other societies, other ideas, other perspectives, other belief systems, that their culture can still maintain its uniqueness and its qualities without fear of dilution, while at the same time celebrating that uniqueness, reaching out simultaneously to the great diversity all around them, each its own expression of uniqueness, yet working hand in hand to support each other in times of need, in times of suffering, so that they can begin to let go of the old view, the old world view, that they really are cut off from the rest of the world. That they now can know they are part of a global family that loves and respects them and is willing to help in time of need. The second idea that they are playing out, that they are experiencing, that they have chosen to experience on their soul path as a culture, is they are still, to date, the only culture on your planet that has actually experienced destruction by nuclear device. This has been within the context of their consciousness for many, many decades on your planet. They have never really let it go. Thus then, they have always had, since that destruction, since the experience of the utilization of atomic devices on their soil, in what you call your world war, they have had what you might call in your language a love-hate relationship with the idea of nuclear energy. So in moving forward to decide to utilize nuclear energy as their source of power in certain places in their nation, always as a companion walking that path has been the fear of that energy. Thus then, they have now given themselves an opportunity to see that fear played out, to see what the idea of holding on to such fears can do, how it can come into play with the idea of working with the things that happen in nature to compound, magnify, and amplify the fears, and to cause the idea of outer reflective harm and destruction as representative and reflective of the inner fear, the inner belief that they have not really come to terms with yet within themselves. This is also thus then a sparkling opportunity for them to realize that they have now come full circle with this idea, that they do not have to fear such ideas, and in letting them go can open themselves up to other ideas, other ways, which brings us to the third context, which means that now not only can they, but the rest of you on your planet, as many of you now have made your own assessment of, recognize that the way you have designed your nuclear technology is not at this point safe. And thus then, by seeing clearly, once again, for this isn't the first time, but on this scale clearly, the damage that can be caused should something go awry, you can now begin, as many of you have begun to do, start a dialogue on your planet with whether or not that's the technology you really wish to continue to use. Because it has shown you very clearly what can happen and how it can amplify and magnify the disastrous aspects of these natural occurrences. You all have known that this could happen. Yet you have all decided, many of you, to move forward with these kinds of technologies. Now you can see by example, by this culture being willing to act as the example, even at what it costs them, to act as the example, that this is not necessarily a direction in your best interests technologically. You can now come together in dialogue and decide that there can be other ways that do not negatively impact, that do not negatively reflect the negative beliefs within you. That you can explore together new ideas and new understandings. Well, really old ones, but ones that you have ignored for many, many generations. There have been from time to time on your planet many individuals who've understood that there are other ways to tap into energy in the universe, to tap into the energy of your planet. But you have made your decisions in creating your sociological and political systems to allow individuals with what you would call vested interests to, in a sense, decide for you what shall be done. But now you can see that this gives you an opportunity to empower yourselves as individuals and as groups, to open dialogues and to discuss now what can be done in other directions to serve the greater good of the total population of your world. So this can be used as one beginning marker, one beginning event to start, as you say, the ball rolling on a series of understandings and unfoldments and dialogues in a new perspective, a new context for what is possible on your world. Because as we have said many times, The way that many of you have gone about deciding what it is you do prefer is by giving yourself an absolutely clear demonstration of what you don't prefer, thus rendering in black and white terms your choices, so that there will be no ambiguity from that point forward. You can now see by example what can occur through the utilization of the choices that have been made. And you can send your gratitude, appreciation, and thanks to that Japanese culture that was willing to allow themselves to be an example, even at the cost that they have endured, to begin those awakenings, to begin those dialogues, to move forward on your planet in ways that are more reflective of what you have said for many generations you would prefer your planet to be, but now can take real steps toward the manifestation, toward the actions necessary to allow for the manifestation of that reality that has always been around you, but which is invisible to you until you take such actions as to render it visible, the reality you prefer. Allow yourselves an opportunity to take a moment now to relax and close your eyes, if you wish, and take a deep breath in. And as you take that deep breath in, allow yourselves to remember that you're all breathing the same air, everywhere, all of you. There is only one atmosphere on your world. You all breathe the same atmosphere, no matter how far away from anything you may think you are. You are all connected in that way, and in many other ways. So as you breathe in deeply now, allow yourselves to feel the connection to those in Japan, to those in all the other nations of your world, all that share the same air. Feel that connection as you breathe in and out, as you breathe together. For is that not the meaning of the word in your language, to conspire, to breathe together? So conspire together to create the world of your dreams rather than the world of your nightmares. Breathe together as one. And the breath of all will support the breath of each. So each can be a manifestation of their dreams. And in each being allowed to be the unique individual that you are, will support the totality of the whole picture, so that all may share in what each has to give. Be of help to each other. Take action for each other. And you will allow, you will reflect, you will represent the ability to make manifest and make visible the world that you prefer, that is right here and right now, but is invisible to your senses until such time as you are an example of the vibration of that reality. Wakarimasu ka? Do you understand? We will perhaps discuss more aspects of this in time as things unfold. For there are chains of consequences that are not over yet. Many more things will unfold that have, in that sense, been triggered by this event around your planet, here and there. But we simply urge you and suggest to you that when you see these things or experience these kinds of events, that you do not at first, though you may recognize the suffering, though you may recognize the idea of things breaking down, breaking apart, that you do not at first assume to put negative meaning into these things. For this is simply the way you have decided to wake yourselves up, to shake yourselves awake. It does not have to be that way. But in that you have, for many generations, resisted the idea of your natural selves. Thus then, you will find some way to get your attention, to bring your attention into focus, to bring your attention to the matters at hand that require your attention, that require your action, that require your vibration be higher, so that you can allow yourselves to live the reality you say you wish to live. As these things unfold, know you are not alone. You are never alone. You are never isolated. For all is one. Even as it expresses itself through individuals, all is one. And if you allow yourselves to put in the positive meaning to all events, then the synchronicity that you will create will be able of, in a sense, showing you, reflecting to you, demonstrating to you that all things can come together in an easy and effortless way, and that you do not require the idea of disasters to get your attention. But as long as there is fear in your hearts, negative beliefs within your personality structure that you are afraid to look at, that you resist looking at, resist transforming, so too will the idea of events continue to get your attention, to shake yourselves awake, until such time as you finally realize what the message is you are attempting to deliver to yourselves. So we suggest that you wake up now. Wake up and live the dream, instead of just dreaming it and hoping that one day it might come to pass. Take action now and allow the dream to manifest. For it isn't that you make these things happen, it is that you allow the thing that already exists to become visible through your actions. We thank you for allowing us at this time to point out to you that your world is growing, as you say in your language, smaller and smaller every day. And as in that sense it grows smaller, you become larger and larger and larger in frequency, and thus begin to approach the ability to have more contact, not only with us and other beings from other worlds, but more contact within yourselves, to all levels of your consciousness that you have created within yourselves, that you have compartmentalized within yourselves. We will be addressing some degree of this compartmentalization of consciousness in the personality structure in what you call tomorrow night's transmission. And so continue this idea of how to get in touch with the barriers that you have created even within your own consciousness that are represented by the barriers in the outer world, and how to dissolve them in such a manner as to function again as a unified whole while sacrificing none of your individuality, in fact enhancing it to a greater degree. For the whole, in that sense, is the result of the validation of all the parts. The full validation of all the parts that automatically work together harmoniously when you allow them to. All of this can come from these kinds of events. All of this understanding can be had.
About that for a few moments.
Again, the idea is that as a child on my world, I was shown the idea of a central hexagonal crystal that existed within a giant, large artistic exhibit created by another contact specialist. The central crystal in that particular work is about, in terms of your size, about 3 feet across. The idea is that it is about the same color green, and around it are other crystals, each crystal added to the central crystal, which represents the first contact of our civilization with another, represents all the other contacts of all the other civilizations we have come into contact with, and constantly grows as more and more civilizations join the interstellar alliance, as you call it. But the idea is that that central crystal is the seed crystal that carries the vibration of contact itself and is representative of my family lineage along with other family lineages that are also steeped into the idea of being contact specialists. So not only does the idea specifically of that crystal carry the vibration, generally speaking, that is conducive to contact with other civilizations, that particular vibration is also very specifically connected to our world and my family.
Very nice.
So, that is our way of welcoming you all to the family. As far as permission slips go, obviously, as was explained, this is specifically tapping into the idea, the archetypal collective consciousness idea that there is a particular frequency or vibration that represents the blending or connection between your civilization and other civilizations. That is one of the frequencies that is put into the charge, in a sense, that is represented by that particular idea, object, permission slip. Now, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to always use that idea, that object, because again, permission slips are what works for you. At the same time, and in conjunction with what we were saying earlier in this transmission as to how there is really no separation between intention and action, between the physicalization, the physical act being that demonstrates and in a sense actually creates simultaneously the intention. The physical act of having a symbol of that nature, a permission slip of that nature, is similar to the idea of physically casting your vote for contact. So the more votes are cast in whatever way that occurs, in whatever form the permission slip feels right for you, the more we can tally those votes, because not just of the intention of wanting contact, but the actual physical act of physicalizing it in some sort of physical way, a physical symbol that is representative of a physical action you have taken that is actually the casting of a vote. And that vote resonates very strongly in your collective consciousness to us. So it really truly changes the vibration of your collective reality. So that is what we wish to add about that idea.
So that's our new exciting development, is that we do have the crystals available now. They also come with a DVD that is a activation meditation that Bashar will guide you through so that you can experience the full energetic of connecting with these crystals. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with our program now, and we're going to begin with our topic of a message to Japan with a video that one of our friends has put together about Japan, and then we'll turn this over to Darryl and Bashar. So again, thank you all for being here, and enjoy the rest of the program.
say good day to you this day of your time. How are you? Thank you. All right, we shall begin this transmission. First and foremost, by once again deeply thanking each and every one of you for co-creating this interaction with all of us. Each and every time you are willing to co-create these interactions with us, you give us the great gift of experiencing creation through your eyes. And this is beautiful to us and expansive. We thank you thus then for this opportunity to expand our understanding of creation through each and every one of you, even as we share our perceptions as well. Let us begin this transmission with the understanding that, as has been named, this transmission shall be a message from Sirius, a Sirius connection. Many of you that were in attendance last night of your time recognized a great degree of acceleration in the delivery of the initial transmission. This acceleration of energy was representative to some degree of a blending at that time with Sirius energy, bringing through a much higher frequency of energy, of consciousness, so that you could, in a sense, be infused, or in your language, pumped up with that energy, so that it would begin to carry you through and across the tunnel and the bridge to 2013, giving you that extra boost, as you say, that momentum to carry you through, to span over your winter solstice date of December 21st, 2012, to simply cross through, pass through that point, and to begin to allow your energy to connect, to bridge and connect to the other side of 2013 and beyond, the years beyond, to allow that momentum to carry you through so that you can have a much more effortless crossing, joyful crossing, creative crossing. Thus today, in having given you that boost, the energy now can simply expand in a different way and may seem to be coming through more slowly, but it is more simply representative of the idea that you are now floating with that energy, that it has buoyed you up and girdled you up and allowed you to simply now rest in a peaceful state in what we call the infinite void. The idea being that as you actually accelerate, and as you experience the idea of more acceleration, and approach the idea of being able to perceive the infinite acceleration that always exists, you begin to recognize, realize, and viscerally experience tangibly that infinite acceleration means that you are everywhere at once, and being everywhere at once means that you feel like you are standing perfectly still. Because when you know you are here and now and everywhere at once, then there is no need to rush about. You simply know that all places and all times and all experiences and all situations exist with you now. And that manifestation of these things is not the idea of attracting something to yourself from somewhere else. It is simply the idea of matching the frequency of what already exists within you so that it becomes perceivable and experiential to you. Thus, you do not have to strive and stretch to go anywhere. All you need to do is be perfectly more here and now to experience all the things that need to unfold in your life in the most perfectly timed, synchronous way. Do you follow this logic? Yes. Thus then understand that also what you are experiencing right now is also the blending of Sirius energy on another level. The idea being now that this Sirius energy will deliver this message in this way so that you may absorb the information on a different level, in a different way, and at a different pace now that you have been primed and prepped for the idea of tapping into your infinite acceleration. It can now be delivered in this
relaxing fashion, so as to simply allow you for peaceful absorption, balanced absorption of the information that is now going to be delivered in this transmission. We shall thus then thank you for allowing us to give you this transmission, to send this transmission and receive from you also your energy of sharing. We are now coming from the idea of a high level of non-physical, serious consciousness in a more expanded way that you will become more and more familiar with through the course of your year of 2013. More and more of this energy will be being sent, or more precisely, more and more of this energy will be being perceived by you as you become more receptive antennas to the idea of the Sirius energy through your year of 2013 and the years beyond. So let us now talk a little bit about what is going to happen in these upcoming 2013 moments of transmission for all who wish to participate and partake in these co-creations. Some of the changes that will be being experienced in your year of 2013 with respect to these transmissions shall be as follows. Many of these transmissions, both from the blended Sirius energy and from the higher level Esasani energy as it becomes the Eshakani energy, going through its own transition, shall take different form in terms of these interactions on a number of occasions. What will now, in a sense, begin will be more than the idea of questions and answers. Though questions and answers will still exist in many of these formats, the idea shall shift a bit to allow you the opportunity to express yourselves more fully through different kinds of interactions with us. You shall become more capable of being responsible in these interactions, which is simply, again, another way of saying to increase your ability to respond and to make statements within yourself instead of always asking questions, knowing that if you have the ability to perceive a question within you, then that means the answer must lie somewhere within. And so all it will take is taking those little bent over question marks and straightening them out into exclamation points. This shall be expressed through the kind of interaction as follows in many ways, though this will not be the only way that this will be expressed. Thus then the idea is that we shall begin what can be called a metaphysical masterclass, MMC for short if you wish, in the interest of being efficient in your language. The metaphysical masterclass shall take many different forms, but among those forms shall be your opportunity to interact with us by statements and by story and by the idea that we shall borrow from your society and from the other things that the channel does with regard to the ideas you call movies. For you shall be telling your own stories as you would tell the story of a movie. And you shall, in that sense, thus then, in these interactive masterclasses, pitch your story to us. The idea, thus, Ben, is that these will be 3-minute pitches. We give you this information now to give you time to prepare for the upcoming year of 2013 to get your story straight. In these 3-minute pitches, what you will be doing is taking different situations and circumstances in your life, a single situation, a single circumstance at a time in these pitches, and over the course of the 3-minute pitch that you will be delivering to us shall be the first minute for the idea of how you answered the call to adventure. When something happened, when something cropped up, when something occurred in your life in a particular situation, you shall describe in very efficient terms how it is that you arrived at the point where you allowed yourself to make the choice to answer that call and explore that circumstance and situation in a very bold way. Minute number 2 shall be a description by you of all the challenges that came up to represent the themes that you chose to explore in answering that call to adventure. So you shall describe all the different challenges that you have created for yourself, which includes all the different definitions that go hand in hand with those challenges as they may have been brought to your conscious attention. Minute number 3 shall be the description of how you transformed all these challenges into more excitement and more joy and more uplifting energy. So it shall be a 3-minute pitch divided into 3 segments of answering the call, describing the challenges, and expressing the transformation. This shall be part and parcel of the Metaphysical Masterclass format that shall be introduced in your year of 2013 in many of these interactions, giving you an opportunity to be more bold in your statements, more defined in the idea of the expression of your reality, and give you more practice in learning how to truly choose those vibrational parallel realities that are part and parcel and more representative and reflective of the realities you prefer to experience. Do you understand? Yes. Thus then, you will also find other things shall be occurring in 2013 with respect to these transmissions, with respect to these interactions. And by the introduction of the Metaphysical Masterclass, it shall also be an opportunity to increase and enhance your sensitivity to the idea of definitions and belief systems within you. And we will work very closely with you in a variety of ways to truly, as you say, zero in on those definitions and allow yourself the opportunity to truly experience that moment of pause, that moment of balance, that moment in the infinite peaceful void where you have the opportunity to truly stand still with all of the definitions you have created within your personality structure. And so to truly examine and truly explore and truly be more willing to bring to the surface all those ideas that may have been compartmentalized within you, and in bringing them forward holistically, to create yourself to function in harmony and in relationship with your higher mind as a much more holistic person on your experience of the physical journey, so that you can elevate that physical journey experience to a much higher domain, a higher frequency, and truly allow yourself the visceral, tangible experience of the shift from 3rd to 4th density in a much more accelerated way. Also, you will find in the upcoming 2013 that there will be many events, global events of various natures that will give you the opportunity to decide how to define these things and what meaning you shall put into them. These will be global collective consciousness challenges that many of you will have the opportunity to face and redefine for yourselves in order to understand truly how to shift globally to different parallel Earths and get more and more of the reflection of the kind of parallel reality you prefer by giving more and more opportunity to assign positive meaning to many of the things that will occur. One of the upcoming events that shall begin to truly become predominant in your society, 1 orbit from now, at this time again in 2013, will be something that many of your astronomers and scientists have now begun to talk about, and that you have now labeled the Christmas Comet. For you shall have an opportunity for 2 possible realities with regard to the idea of a comet that is now approaching your world and shall round the sun and shall have the opportunity to go in 2 different directions. Direction number 1 shall be that the comet will simply pass so close to your star that it will simply be absorbed by the star. This by itself shall have the opportunity to be given many different kinds of meanings, and we will discuss the depth of these ideas at another time as the comet approaches your world. The other option, the other parallel path available to you in the experience of the Christmas Comet shall be that if it does not get absorbed by your star, it shall round your star so closely and pass by your planet closely enough that it shall be the brightest comet in your recorded history. You will be able to see and experience this with great wonder and great joy, and take it as a reflection from the cosmos in a variety of ways. Again, giving yourself an opportunity to experience this particular reflection in the heavens in a variety of ways, and an opportunity to assign a variety of meanings to it. That shall be part and parcel of what you have decided for yourself in the year of 2013. So there is the Christmas Comet that shall represent another splitting point. Even now, as your upcoming December 21st winter solstice date has been described by us as the idea of a splitting prism, where the tracks of the trains will leave the station and split and become divergent. The Christmas Comet shall be another splitting point in one orbit that will give you the opportunity to experience parallel reality splits in a very new way, and we shall be discussing more information about this in the upcoming 2013 window. Give yourself thus then the opportunity to allow all of these changes to sink in, and there will be many more surprises upcoming, some of which will be announced in the upcoming December 21st and 22nd transmissions. Things that have not been available to us to, in a sense, transmit to you, that will be able thus then to be transmitted at that time. During that transmission, we will have 4 surprise gifts for you during that transmission of information heretofore not available to be transmitted to your society. Thus then, we offer you the opportunity to become aligned with new information and new energy that shall uplift you to a new level, so that you may experience 2013 in a holistically new way, and to generate with us and co-create with us new interactions with new formats and new flavors, and thus then allow yourself to truly begin to experience the seed of what your new era shall be, and begin to lay the foundations for new experiences that were not possible in the old paradigms. So we thank you for the opportunity to experience such exciting upliftment with you, and we now again extend our deep unconditional love and gratitude for your willingness to experience more and more of the collective energy of Earth and Asasani and Sirius. There shall also be in the upcoming year more opportunities to experience the idea of the energy of Sirius through the flow of water in a variety of ways. Pay attention to the changing weather patterns on your planet, for they are an indication of the new world building itself. And these changes, while they can occur in a variety of ways, will always give you the opportunity to adapt to them. If you are so aligned in a positive way of assigning positive definition to everything that occurs, you will always have the opportunity to adapt to the new world as it reforms itself, so that eventually you will be able to see the new world that you will be living in alongside those who are to come. We thank you for allowing us to deliver this information in this way, and now in return for this gift you have given to us, we ask, in what way may we now be of service to you through your questions and answers?